What's up, Bulls fans? It's Tommy from HoopsRespect. Today we're breaking down the Chicago Bulls' tough loss to the Milwaukee Bucks last night, how the Chicago Bulls were able to keep that so close, Grayson Allen, and a lot more. So hoopheads, let's talk HoopsRespect. Yo, let's get that intro up. Last night, the Chicago Bulls were facing one of their toughest challenges of the season, the reigning NBA champions, Milwaukee Bucks, and they were facing off at United Center North. Pfizer Forum. The Chicago Bulls are no stranger, to tough competition, especially on a national stage. And without Zach, without Lonzo, being able to keep this game close, and with a bad shooting performance, it was pretty remarkable, and we really had no business being in this game. Last night on ESPN, all the analysts had chose the Bucks kind of to blow out the Bulls. Kind of made sense. We didn't have a couple of our starters in Zach Alonzo. We didn't have Javonte Green. So it's definitely a big hit to the Chicago Bulls. And trying to guard Giannis, trying to guard Drew, trying to guard Middleton, definitely was going to be a task ahead for the Chicago Bulls. So it was really nice to be able to see them be able to keep this one close last night. So we got to start off talking about the Chicago Bulls shooting woes last night. They were absolutely terrible. God-awful. The Bulls shot 36% from the field, 18% from three. Man, shooting like that against the NBA champs, it's just not going to cut it on most nights. Thankfully the Bucks, they were pretty much just as cold as the Bulls were last night. They shot 38% from the floor, 18% from deep, and to be honest, this was the first game this year the Bulls shot under 20% from three-point land. The Chicago Bulls really showed the NBA why they're doing so well this season. It's defense. Chicago made the Bucks work for every single point they scored last night. Nothing came easy. Tyler Cook and Vooch both had 5 fouls. They were both taking turns guarding Giannis and guarding Bobby Portis, and they played great defense along with Alex Caruso, who did check in at various times in this game to play power forward against Giannis. MVP candidate DeMar DeRozan showed out again last night in typical fashion, putting up a cool 35 points, 50% shooting from the floor, 17 of 18 from the free throw line, while nabbing 6 rebounds and dishing out 3 assists. DeMar was also playing some really great defense and helping out on a lot of switches. DeMar was really able to help this Bulls team and lead us, to almost, be able to beat this tough Bucks team shorthanded. I'm really looking forward to the next 3 games against the Bucks. When we have Zach healthy, when we've got Javonte healthy, when Lonzo comes back, hopefully we can meet them again in the playoffs and, maybe make this a fun 7-game series. I'd love to see that, especially with this low-scoring affair. As things get deeper into the playoffs, it's going to be a much tougher game, a lot more half-court offense, not as much run-and-gun style. So it's going to be a showdown kind of like tonight, and three-pointers aren't going to, be as much of a factor as they are in the regular season in the playoffs, as we've seen over the last, 5 or 6 years, as the three-pointer has started to dominate the league. So the Grayson Allen foul. I'm just going to touch on this briefly. It was a bad foul by Grayson Allen. There's really nothing else to say about it. There's a history of this going all the way back to Duke. If you haven't seen the play already, I suggest you go watch it. Just a very unnecessary play. You can see him, they caught him smiling after the play when the officials went to review. This kind of tells me all I needed to know about that play. And that, Grayson Allen has really not grown at all from his tactics and antics back at Duke. And Alex Caruso said this after the game on the foul. He said, "Dude just kind of grabbed me out of the air, kind of bullshit." And then these were Billy Donovan's words after the press conference. He said, "It was really bad. It was really, really bad. I'll just say this. We lost Patrick on a flagrant foul to a pretty significant injury. And I said this after the game. I think Mitchell Robinson was trying to make a legitimate play on the basketball. It happened to be a flagrant. There are times there's flagrant fouls. For Alex to be in the air like that and to take him down like that, it could have ended his career. And he has a history of this. That to me is really dangerous, and I hope the league takes a hard look at something like this. because he could have been really hurt. He's right. Alex Caruso could have been really hurt on that play. After he came out after the play, they did tape up his wrist. There was a little bit of an injury on that wrist, so they want to be a little bit extra cautious to make sure there wasn't any, further, problems with that wrist going forward. But just not a good foul, on Grayson Allen. There's no need for that kind of play in this league. And I don't honestly think the league's going to end up suspending Grayson Allen for this play. I definitely think it's something to monitor going forward and for the rest of the season. So I want to talk about the final sequence, the last couple of plays, the last 30, 40 seconds. Why I'm a little bit upset with Vooch. I'll say this, I'm not in the camp that thinks we should trade Vooch. I'm not in the camp that, thinks Vooch is trash or ass or buns. I actually like Vooch. I think, the all-star center that we traded for, I think he's still in there. He's having kind of a down year. That's to be expected, with all the additional new pieces we have. It's kind of expected to Vooch to be, having a down year. I don't think we expected, his shooting to be this bad. I'm not so worried about the shooting. He's an all-star. He's a professional. He's putting in the work. I know he's going to come out of those slumps. He's had some pretty good games as of late, so I'm not in this camp that thinks we have to trade him right now. I think once he gets out of the shooting slump and he plays a little bit better, he's exactly what we need on this team. That being said, kind of mad at Vooch from last night, man. The final couple plays, Vooch, he passed out of a mismatch he had with Jrue Holiday. That's what makes me mad. You can tell by DeRozan's body language, the way he caught the ball. He was expecting Vooch to take that. He was expecting him to take, either go to the hole on Jrue or pull up from the mid-range. I'd be okay with either one of those. If he at least makes the attempt to go over Jrue, whether he backs him down, goes to the hole, takes a little fade shot, whatever he does, I'm okay if he takes that mid-range jumper from 15 feet where he was at. I'm fine with that. Don't pass the ball back to DeMar. DeMar was not ready for it. We need Vooch to be confident in his game. We need Vooch to be confident in, his skills. He's got a lot of size in Jrue Holiday. And for him to say, okay, I'm just going to pass this ball back out to DeMar with 23 seconds to go, at that point, there's no more shot clock. At this point, we're down. We've got to score. Why are you passing it back out to DeMar, who's at the 3-point line? You've got the smaller defender. Let's go. Let's attack that guy. Let's just do something with it. Let's not just abandon, this opportunity. As much as losing sucks, as much as this game is so frustrating, we were so close. We were right there all the way to the finish line with Giannis, with this team that is just so good. It's okay. I'm not mad about this loss. I'm okay with it. And the reasons why are kind of what I highlighted in the video 2 days ago. Was that the Chicago Bulls needed to come out defensively. They needed to play hard defense. They needed to make sure that they weren't going to just give up easy buckets. Even though they were struggling, which we've seen in the past, in the Golden State game, in the Nets game, they started to struggle from the field and they kind of gave up on defense, and it exasperated the lead. We got blown out by both of those games. It really happened in a handful of minutes. It didn't happen over the whole course of the game. That Nets game, it happened in a 2.5 minute span. The lead ballooned from 9 to 23 in a 2 minute span. It happens quick. And for me, when things aren't working well, you got to keep trusting in your defense. And that's what these guys did tonight. Nothing was working well from the field, from the three-pointer, but they kept playing good defense. They kept their heads down. They kept playing hard on Giannis. They kept playing hard on Chris Middleton. They kept playing hard on Jrue. Everyone played, stepped up, and they played good defense. And that's what kept them in this game tonight. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest takeaway from this game for me. Our shooting was terrible. That's not going to happen every night. That's not going to be an every game thing. The fight that we saw from this team, the growth that we saw was from those bad losses against, Golden State and against the Nets. They watched that film. They didn't want to come back out, on national television tonight, lay an egg. They didn't want to be embarrassed again. I'm sure they heard what these guys were talking about how they were going to get blown out against the Bucks tonight, how they stood no chance without Zach and stood no chance without Lonzo. They take this stuff seriously. They take this stuff to heart because these guys are true competitors. They know how good they are, and they came out there with a lot of grit and toughness and decided we're gonna stay in this game tonight. and they did. And as I discussed in my last video, the upcoming stretch of games for the Chicago Bulls is seriously important. And even though some of these teams are sub 500, these games aren't going to be easy by any stretch. Any of these games could easily be a trap game, especially Orlando. You know, Wendell always comes out, has show-out games against his former team. They always play tough against us. We don't want to lose against these bad opponents. We don't want to take unnecessary losses. As Big Dave would say from the Lockdown Bulls, you know, we need to bum slay right now. We need to take care of these bad opponents. The Bulls have to come out early. They've got to set the tone. They've got to play with high energy. They got to play, you know, smart and hard on both ends of the floor. They've got to play smart defense. They've got to get Vooch working early. They've got to get DeMar working early. They really need to get Kobe and Ayo, you know, working early as well. I'd love to see Ayo and Kobe get working in these next couple games, kind of rebound off this tough loss. And Toronto's not going to be an easy game either. They've been playing at a really high level. They've been playing great offensively, great defensively. They've gotten guys back. They're getting into good rotation, good rhythm. So this isn't going to be an easy game for the Bulls. That's all I've got for you for today, Chicago Bulls fans. I'm Tommy. This is Hoops Respect. See Red. Go Bulls. Windy City. Respect those hoops.